Good morning, everyone. Looks like we've got quite a few participants entering. And I just want to wish everyone a good morning. I know it's early, it's a Saturday, but you're all here and we're really excited to have you. I'm going to wait until I see the participant numbers stop rolling in just a minute, and then we will get started. All right. Well, I want to wish everyone a good morning and welcome to the 2021 Health Education and Leadership HEAL Conference. My name is Emmy Lopez Phillips, and I'm the Associate Director of the Latino Center for Medical Education and Research at UCSF Fresno. On behalf of our department, who've worked very hard to make this day happen, we are very excited to bring all of you, our Doctors Academy and Junior Doctors
Academia de
Academy.
doctores, estudiantes y familias, unirnos para.
I first want to direct you to the program that is posted on our website. That is where you can find the most updated information. If there are changes that need to occur during the day, we will ask you to refer to the program that is on the website. You also received a PDF document, and that document has the most updated links as well. But like I mentioned, if there is if there are any changes, we are going to direct you to the website. So it might just be best for you to check that link. I do want to share that we have a Spanish translation available. That slide is up right now on your screen, and we will hold that there for a minute so that you can review. So for our Spanish-speaking families, in the program, as well as on the website, you can see which sessions will be presented in Spanish, or if the session is in English, you will see if there's an option to turn on the Spanish translation option. This is simply a button that slides from English to Spanish, and you should be able to see that on the screen. Once you slide the button from English to Spanish, what's important to know is that you will not hear the presenter speaking, but rather you will hear the translator speaking in Spanish. If you have questions as we move forward, you may pop them in the Q&A or reach out to one of the coordinators directly. All right, so since we're all physically separated, but yet now we're virtually connected by our own devices, I want to share a few instructions to help make your virtual experience the best that it can be. So what you're seeing here on the screen is what you should see below in the actual Zoom interface. So at the bottom, you will see three icons: a chat, a raise hand, and a Q&A. The first icon I want to call to your attention is the one that says chat. And if you click on this, it'll allow you to open a chat log and communicate with your fellow participants. Some of you have already been chatting in the chat log, and that's great. You've been saying hello. So for the purpose of this conference, we're going to use this chat feature to respond to the session presenters. But I want to test it out and make sure you all know how to use it. So let's just practice. Go ahead and click on chat. And I want you to type in what time you woke up. Let's see who woke up the earliest this morning. So go ahead and click on chat and type in the time you woke up. Wow. So it looks like everybody's figuring it out pretty well. Lots of early birds.
Dr.
Wonderful.
Phillips, Dr.
Yes.
Phillips, a lot of students I'm noticing are just responding to panelists and not panelists and attendees. You want to explain the difference to them?
Sure. I think that as I think that they're all, it looks like they're all responding to panelists and attendees. And I think the only people that have the option to respond to only panelists are those that have the panelist webinar link. Is that accurate?
I don't think so,
Boz or
because
Leland?
in the beginning, there were pretty much all to panelists from the students.
They
Okay.
do have an option. They could drop down and make it just the panelists so we can get it and the attendees won't see it, or they can do panelists and attendees. There's kind
Okay,
of a mix
so
right now happening.
let me make that let me distinguish that for everyone. So in the chat, before you type in your response, you will see the 2, and then it'll say panelist, and then it'll have a little drop down arrow. If you drop down that arrow, you should be able to then click on panelists and attendees. That will allow you to chat so that everyone that is attending can see your response. Okay, most of you are doing that, and I think maybe some of you just didn't realize that it was only going to panelists. Okay, thank you for that. All right, so moving on, the second button or icon there at the bottom is raise hand. So this is a feature that allows you to virtually raise your hand if you have something to say. We aren't going to be using this feature at this time until our sessions begin, because if the presenter is asking you to raise your hand or to volunteer to share, that is when you will be able to do that. So at this time, if you want to practice raising your hand, you can click on the button. But otherwise, very good. I see people raising their hand. Otherwise, we'll wait to use that feature. And then the final button that I would like to have you practice is the Q&A. You see that little Q&A button or icon? That stands for questions and answers. If you have questions for our presenters, this is where you're going to click and type in your question. You can use this button anytime during the conference. So we will have people monitoring your questions and responding either directly to you or to the entire group if it's something that's relevant to the entire audience. Let's see here. Again, should you have any questions along the way, you can always submit them at any time. All right, so that's our housekeeping information, and we're going to go ahead and get started here. We're running a little behind, but that's okay, because I think we're going to be able to stay on track through the rest of our session. So it's now my honor to introduce our director of the Latino Center for Medical Education and Research, and she's also the founder of the Doctors Academy and Junior Doctors Academy, Dr. Katherine Flores.
Thank you, Dr. Phillips. Buenos dias, good morning. Welcome to all of you, to both students, parents, administrators, teachers, counselors, etc. On behalf of the University of California, San Francisco School of Medicine, specifically from our Dean Talmadge and from our Associate Dean here at the UCSF Fresno campus, Dr. Peterson, we want to welcome you and thank you for joining us this morning. I want to acknowledge our school staff from Sunnyside, from Carruthers, both Carruthers High School, Carruthers Elementary, Middle School, Terrones, Sequoia, Kings Canyon. Just want to thank all of you for joining us. I understand that we have from Fresno Unified, Mr. Jeremy Ward, who is also joining us, so thank you. And I'm not going to give out all the names because I don't know who's here and who's not, but just know that we're very grateful for your partnership and for sharing your students with us. I also want to acknowledge our own personnel, Dr. Phillips and our entire team, and I'm going to leave it to Dr. Phillips to give a shout out to everybody at some point in the program. Then I just want to acknowledge the fact that this has been a challenging year for all of us. For those who I haven't met, as Dr. Phillips mentioned, my name is Dr. Katherine Flores. I'm a family practice physician here in town in private practice. I'm also a faculty with the UCSF School of Medicine. And I have the privilege and honor of working with the Doctors Academy and with all of you and the students. And I know as a health provider how challenging this year has been for our community, for our patients. And I want to start by recognizing that some of you have been touched personally with loss in this COVID era. And I send you a virtual hug and send prayers up for all of you for your losses. I want to acknowledge that even if you haven't had a direct loss of a family member, that there are many within our community that you have likely been close to who has either suffered from COVID or who has passed from COVID. And again, just want to say how sorry I am. Also want to recognize that this year has been very difficult for parents. Many of our families have parents who have lost their jobs as a result of COVID or have had their work hours decreased. I know within my own office, in my medical office, we had to decrease hours for our staff, and that was challenging for our staff members because that decreases income, which is then difficult to pay your bills. So want to recognize that it has been a difficult economic challenge for a lot of people, and we recognize that. And thirdly, want to recognize how challenging it's been for our students in school. We know how hard it is to not be in person. We know that it's been stressful, not just academically challenging, but also not being with your friends, not being in person, not being able to hang out with your friends. We know that that's been very, very difficult. So just want to raise that and let you know that we understand and we feel for you, and we hope that this coming year, things will be better. You've heard the announcement from Fresno Unified that they're hoping to get back in person. What that means for middle school and high school, I don't know the details, but you will be hearing shortly about that. But one of the sessions that you're going to be able to join if you're interested is talking about the challenges. Actually, all of you, it's not a session, it's a general session of Zoom fatigue, distance learning fatigue. And I hope that that you stay on to listen to that, because it's true for all of us, myself included. I have a lot of meetings. I was in a meeting all day yesterday from 8 o'clock until 6 o'clock, 3 different meetings, but it just went on and on and on. Not only did my bottom hurt from sitting so long, but my brain gets tired. It's hard to focus. So I feel your pain. So just wanted to talk a little bit about resilience and the importance of hanging in there. Um, I know that as I grew up, I was a farm worker, and I remember working out in the fields and being really tired after a long, hot day, and my grandparents urging us on and telling us not to give up, that things would be better in time. And they were right. Ultimately, I became a doctor. I think because of that work ethic that they instilled in me. So don't give up. Things will get better. And what you learn from these experiences, you'll be able to share in the future with others, and give them that ganas. Ganas in English is I don't know, give you that drive. So yeah, so hang in there. I also want to recognize that the pandemic has highlighted something that is critical for this particular program, and that's the need for healthcare workers. healthcare workers in a broad sense. Yes, we need doctors. Boy, during the surge in December and January, there were just not enough doctors in the hospitals to take care of everybody. And that was not just in the emergency room, but that was in the intensive care unit. But in addition to the doctors, nurses, there just weren't enough nurses. And it wasn't just because we didn't have enough, but it was because a lot of our nurses and doctors were getting sick, or they were being put in quarantine. So it just emphasizes the need for all of you to enter the health profession, because we need you, and we need you to come into our community, into the Central Valley, to provide care. Because boy, if we learned anything during this pandemic, we learned that we don't have enough of you. And it's not just, as I said, doctors and nurses, it's mental health workers. We have so many people who are in such dire need of mental health right now. I see it every day in my practice. People who come to see me or talk to me, because I do a lot of virtual visits now over the phone, and people who need more than my 15 minutes of trying to give them, hope. They need somebody who can spend an hour with them, just talking about not just what the issues are, but how they can overcome those issues. Then we need public health professionals. We need people who understand what public health is. And you're going to have a session later today that will talk about public health. I honestly didn't fully understand what public health, all the different options in the public health field were. But this pandemic has highlighted those jobs. And so I encourage you to look at that. So for the students, this program hopefully will continue to show you the variety of health professions that you can enter. And I hope that you speak with your coordinators, with your teachers, with your counselors about what those options are, and continue to explore them. For the parents, know that your students are on the right path. We need them. They will not have to look for a job. Those jobs are going to be there for them if they go into the health professions. So please continue to encourage your students. And don't worry if you don't fully understand what that journey entails. That's what we're here for. That's what the Latino Center is structured to do, is to provide that guidance along with your school counselors. We're here to provide the guidance, and then to continue to work and march along with your students through their journey through college and then onto the health professions. And I'm going to end by talking a little bit about continuing to be safe. Yes, we're seeing a huge decrease in the numbers of COVID cases, in the death rate, but it hasn't gone away. We continue daily to have patients who test positive for COVID. We continue to have daily patients who are still being admitted into the hospital. We continue to have daily patients who die from COVID. It has not gone away. So please don't lower your guard. We're blessed that things are better, but it hasn't gone away. Please continue to wear your masks. There are those guidances, not official, that are saying double mask, and there's nothing wrong with double masking, particularly if you're wearing cloth masks. If you're going to particularly be in an area, in an enclosed space where you're going to be, where there's not good ventilation, I double mask just to be extra safe. If you're going to be in a setting like a store, whether they're limiting the numbers of people, but now they're increasing the numbers of people allowed to go in, double mask. It doesn't hurt. You might feel like you can't breathe, but you can breathe. Continue to physically distance. More and more, I'm seeing people feeling like it's safe to give hugs. Gosh almighty, I'd love to be able to hug you all, but know that you need to maintain that physical distancing. And then vaccines. You're going to have a session. It's called a bonus session this afternoon at 1:15. Please find time to listen. There's so many myths out there about vaccines. The truth, it's safe to get a vaccine. Talk to your provider of care if you're not sure. The only people who shouldn't get vaccines are people who are allergic to the vaccine, and you're not going to know if you're allergic unless you don't get that first dose. Granted, all of you students, most of you are under 16, you can't get a vaccine yet. I'll tell you that we're testing. They're already going through the testing processes to find out when you're going to get a vaccine. And we're hoping that maybe in the fall, there will be vaccines for students over 12, the age of 12. Not for sure that that'll happen, but that's in the queue. Please, for the parents, get your vaccine. Agarren la vacuna. If you have any questions, talk to your health professional. But listen to the session at 1:15, because that will hopefully dispel myths and give you courage to get the vaccine. And there is a session in English and there's a session in Spanish. So if you don't speak English very well and you'd prefer to do Spanish, do that. If you prefer English, do that. Students, if I were you, I would also listen to that session, even though you may not be eligible for a vaccine because of your age. Why? Because as Doctor Academy and Junior Doctor Academy students, hopefully you will be ambassadors for your community. You will share the knowledge with your families, with your parents, your families, your community. Give them the facts, because there are too many myths going around out there right now. I hear them every day from my patients. Ay, doctora, pero, they'll talk about this and they'll talk about that. And I tell them, I've got my vaccine. I don't have a horn. I haven't turned yellow or purple or green. The fear needs to be dispelled. So please, please, please talk with or listen to the session. And if you have any questions about vaccines, please ask them. And you can always email me, students. I'm more than happy to share my knowledge about vaccines. I'm no expert, but I do have information. You can always go on the CDC website, students. You guys are really tech savvy. CDC.gov and the COVID and vaccine, and it's all there. You're more than welcome or not more than welcome. I encourage you to do that, because again, as Junior Doctor Academy and Doctor Academy students, we really consider you to be ambassadors for our community, for sharing knowledge. So with that, because I want to get us back on track, it's 9 o'clock. And I'm going to pass it over. I want to introduce the person that who spoke in the beginning, and that's Dr. Emmy Phillips. For those who don't know Dr. Phillips joined our program about a year ago. Not only is she the Associate Director for the Latino Center, she's also the Director of the UCSF Fresno School of Medicine Library. She has her doctorate in education. She's an educator. Not just in, working with us, but an educator globally. She has done some amazing work before she joined us, but she's done even more amazing work now that she's with us. We're very blessed to have her, and I'm going to hand it back to her, and she will guide us through the rest of the sessions. It's great to, unfortunately, not physically see you, and even virtually, I can't see you. I'm trying to click through here, but I just see my peers. But anyway, I hope to see you virtually at our Doctor Academy award ceremonies. I do plan to join all of you for both Carruthers, Sunnyside, Kings Canyon, Terrones, and Sequoia. And I'll hopefully be able to visit, maybe not physically, but I'll be able to virtually see all of you there. So thank you. And Dr. Phillips, back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Flores. We really appreciate your time, and thank you for your inspiring remarks to the students and families this morning. I'd like to move on to our first session this morning. We are going to pause the recording at this point, and now we hope that you can be ready to be a little active right now. We know that this information that was just shared in the previous session was challenging in some ways, but this session is going to be different. It's going to challenge you in a different way, and we're ready to use a different part of our brain right now. So with that, I'd like to introduce our presenter, Mrs. Floridia Cheung. She is the Career Technical Education, or CTE, coordinator at Sunnyside High School in Fresno Unified School District. And the title of the presentation is Combat Distance Learning Fatigue with Science. Flo, I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you, Dr. Phillips. My name is Flo Cheung, or Mrs. Cheung. I'm so excited to be here. I recognize a lot of names in the boxes because I used to be a junior doctor's academy teacher at Kings Canyon Middle School with Fresno Unified. So being reunited with my peers, the teachers at Torones and also Sunnyside DA, and a lot of students that are now in DA, I'm just so excited to see you. So thanks for all the shout outs. See you guys. It makes my heart very happy. So thank you, Ms. Nichols, and also Dr. Flores. I know the cyber situation has made things so different this year, right? So I am just so pleased that we can still carry on the HEAL conference, just because, adults, all of us and students, we've had to innovate to make sure that we continue these beautiful relationships with one another. And as Ms. Nichols has kind of described, it can be quite scary having cyber, security being breached, but we need to learn how to use technology, because technology is in every aspect of our life. It is actually, I think it has protected us from coronavirus, right? So even though this year has not been ideal, it hopefully has kept you and your family and your community safe, and definitely has taught us resilience, as Dr. Flores is telling us and explaining how we are going through it together. And as the schools are putting together plans to bring you guys back, I know it is wearing on us, this challenge. So the session is about combating fatigue. So this is going to be, okay, hold on. I'm not used to, at my Fresno Unified, we're not used to Zoom. So sometimes it's a little bit slower compared to working with. Okay, so hopefully that works. Okay. So there I am. Okay, so, I like using the chat box, so, but please use it responsibly. As we just discovered, everything's recorded. Okay, so this session is being recorded, so please be professional. So, but tell me, what is your names, your school, your grade? I'll try my best to kind of read the chat, but I'll have to say, this is gonna be quite fast paced. I was telling, Dr. Phillips, this is gonna be like Mr. Bean meets Richard Simmons. It's gonna be kind of crazy, okay? So be ready. So in the chat box, just kind of let me know. Give me the number that best describes your virtual learning environment or mood. Tell me, what are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know if these pictures, is this sharing the, how do I collapse this? Okay, again, sorry.
Yes, we can see your presentation just
I'll
fine.
just make it small. Tell me, what is your virtual learning environment right now, or mood? Is it like number 1, you're like barely awake right now? I know it's Saturday, right? 2, are you like super techie? You have like 2 or 3 screens? I have several screens. Are you happy to be, using a laptop? Is this learning working for you? 4, are you like in a crowded situation? You got your brothers and sisters during the week with you. 5, you're just like burnt out. 6, maybe you don't have a proper desk, you're working on the floor. 7, maybe some of you are in cohorts coming back to school. Okay, so it's very different, right? Even though some of us are students are coming back in the classroom, you're still wearing masks, you're practicing social distancing, right? Again, this is to keep you safe. Are you working on a couch, or like some of you are learning from a bed? Tell me, what are you doing in there? So I am worried, right? We are all worried about what this is doing to our health. Physically, it's not kind of natural for us to be, this kind of staying in, confined quarters. So we're just kind of worried about that. So we're kind of, let me kind of, I'm going to keep on going. So I'm going to read your chats later, I promise. Okay.
We have ranges of numbers all over the place. We've got everything from 1 to 9 and 10. So people are all over the place.
Okay, see, so everyone's situation is different. So today's agenda, we're gonna kind of look at ways to counter the potential stress that you're collecting in your mind, in your body, okay, your mental health. Okay, so we're gonna find ways to beat that out, right? So we're gonna figure out ways. So I have some people helping me out. I have some DA students from Carruthers and Sunnyside who are going to like kind of recommend ways to fight that. So creative, we're gonna create art and writing. We're gonna practice mindfulness. We might do a little boxing and exercising, and we're gonna do a little breathing deeply, okay? So what you need is, I think Dr. Phillips and her team sent you a notebook, pencil. You could bring out some colored pencils, some markers, and maybe your stretch band as well. So take those out. I'll tell you when to get them, okay? So let's first do creative art and writing, okay? So what I want you to do is get your notebook, okay? So I don't know what your notebooks look like, but take a notebook. If you don't have your notebook, just grab any piece of writing paper. Now I have some brains for you to draw. So choose a brain that you would like to draw on the screen, and it could be very quick. Like obviously I'm not gonna collect them, right? So draw, and I want you to be creative, because sometimes you think like science is like separate from art. No, there is a lot of art in science, okay? So draw a brain. Which brain are you drawn to? Are you drawn to like the not anatomical comparison with other animals? Are you, attracted to the kind of like the symbol of the synapses working in your brain? Draw it. So I'm going to give you let's give you 2 minutes. Okay. I said 3 minutes, but we started late, so I'm going to try to finish on time. So let's give you 2 minutes. Draw your brain. What does it look like? You have about 20 more seconds to wrap up your drawing. Again, no judgment. Just do what you can. Okay, please stop. So how does your brain look? So hopefully you understand that drawing is a great way to process your thinking, how you understand body, right? So drawing is a really great skill for, your medical studies, or also just to relieve stress, right? So hopefully you take joy in not only the product, but the process of doing it, right? Your drawings, if you keep on practicing drawing, it will get better and better. Now, with your little brain drawing, I also want you to start thinking about understanding your own brain. This is Carrie's brain story, okay? So I'm gonna ask you in a moment to think about your own brain, okay? So Carrie's brain story says this: my brain feels tired when I don't know what to do next, or when I have to do a lot of reading. Another brain story is, my brain is creative and runs on color and opportunities to draw. Another brain part is, my brain feels most successful when I can work with my friend who is organized, or when I have a checklist and check-ins with my teacher. Now, look in the gray box. It says, now I would like you to create your brain story. Think about your own brain. I want you to really understand what stresses you out, what makes you happy, what makes your brain feel challenged and really creative, and when does your brain feel most successful? So I'm going to give you another 2 minutes right now. Think about it. So answer those questions. With your little drawing, I want you to label it. My brain feels tired when I do this. My brain feels creative when I do this. My brain feels successful when I do this. So go ahead, please do that. 2 minutes, please. You have 30 more seconds. And Amy and Javier, you will be about ready to share. So be sure to unmic. So Amy will go first. So you have 20 more seconds, class or students. All right, please stop. So hopefully you were honest with yourself. This is your own journal, okay? You don't have to share this with anyone. Writing is so important to get your ideas out because sometimes you're so frustrated with life, with this Zoom. You need to express yourself because sometimes if you let it out, even if you're not vocal and you don't share with your friends or family, you need to let it out on paper, okay? So I'm gonna have first Amy Flores. I don't know if you're related to Dr. Flores, but could you please share your brain story?
No, I'm not. But hi, I'm Amy Flores, and I go to Carruthers High School, and I'm a senior. And um, my brain feels tired when it's not too much. Like I could be procrastinating, or like need to do another thing that I haven't done, such as chores and stuff like that. And but then on the other side, my brain feels creative when I'm drawing during my free time, even though like I'm not that good at drawing, but I still like to draw and like relieve some stress. And then my brain feels most successful when I know I've done all of my homework on time and have left nothing left like last minute, like when I'm actually not procrastinating for like once, and then stuff like that. And then hopefully, like, in the future, I could become a science or math teacher because I really enjoy learning about science.
Oh, thank you, Amy, for sharing your thoughts. I mean, it's not easy to be vulnerable, and I think your story will connect to a lot of students as well, but also to me as an adult. I wait till last minute too sometimes. So thank you for sharing that, Amy. And then Javier, could you please share with me, with all of us, your brain story?
All right, so I'm Javier Serna, and I'm a senior at Carruthers High School. And my brain feels tired when I've had to do back to back because I really enjoy my breaks. And my brain feels most successful after drinking coffee, listening to music, or reading, just because it feels like a fresh start after I do those. Be through writing or through drawing something.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah,
Policy or pharmacy, and that's about it.
Oh, Javier, it's a lot. So thank you so much for sharing that. I can't believe you're drinking coffee already. I guess so you're almost ready for college, right? So, but I love that you listen to music or you read, and I totally get it. Everything is done back to back now. All these meetings we're having back to back, and I'm glad you're finding ways to outlet your creativity. So, and hopefully that creativity and your kind of your management of stress will lead you to great public policy and pharmaceutical work. Thank you, Javier, for again being vulnerable and sharing with us. So I just kind of want to talk about this. So this brain, we got to kind of understand like what is going on with our brain. It's constantly changing. So if we're looking at this picture here, our brain, your brain, especially you high schoolers and middle schoolers, your brain is still developing. Okay, it is still developing. So like, as you can see, the color changes of kind of how it's maturing. Your brain is still, maturing at different levels. So don't be so hard on yourself because your body is changing. There's so much going on in there that it's really hard to manage. And when you're stressed by trauma or this, challenges like this, don't be hard on yourself because it's supposed to be a stress. So I wanted to share my brain story too, because students, I don't want you to think that us adults have it all together because we don't. Okay, so there I am. Just this weekend, I got a new electric skateboard. So I am going through a midlife crisis at the moment. So I'm trying to be young. I should be wearing a helmet. So you should wear your helmet if you have one. But I love boarding. So I learned surfing when I went to UCLA. I'm a big snowboarder. So I'm like, hey, I can't get up to the slopes because there's not much snow. So I'm like, I'm gonna get a skateboard. So but I'll tell you my brain story. I feel tired when I know that people rely on me to complete things by a certain time. I feel very stressed about it, right? That's just part of my job. A lot of adults were putting food on the table. So that's what stresses me out. But I feel creative when I'm cooking or when I have a fun conversation with friends. And if I could like make fun of my friends, like in front of them, right? We have a good banter. That makes me feel creative because I love joshing around with my friends. And then I feel most successful when I see my students are happy and healthy. So like being here with you guys and seeing you guys growing and being committed to becoming health professionals, my brain is super on fire right now. So I wanted to tell you that because sometimes this, the stress that you're going through as teens, sometimes it doesn't match up with the stress that goes on with adults. So our brains are different, teenagers and adults, right? Okay, so adults, it says we should be fully developed, but as I said, like some of us are immature, so might still be developing. But yeah, so you guys are still going through information, right? So like, Ms. Nichols was kind of talking about cybersecurity. You may make choices that are kind of reckless, maybe not thought through, and you put yourself at risk, you put your family at risk. So understand your brain. So like, try to control it, understand your brain and try to figure out ways to express yourself in healthy ways, okay? So I just wanted to point that out, but look at all the different parts, all the cool parts of your brain. Like a brain seems kind of small, like I should wear a helmet to protect all those different parts, but every part of your brain does something very special. Okay, so but this is very exciting for you teenagers. Hippocampus, their tremendous learning curve. What you are going through right now, you are adapting, you are learning strong character, you are changing with technology, you are acquiring so many skills that as adults are having a little bit harder time in adjusting. Okay, so like teens, you may be adjusting and adapting a lot faster than us adults. So take pride in that. Okay, so I have a little experiment next. So again, super fast, right? Oh my gosh, I'm out of time. But I want to do a quick science experiment. I'm just kind of set it up right here. So I don't know if you can see my camera, but this is the chemical phenomenon. What happens when I create a closed system with glucose? So I have a few chemicals here. I have glucose here. So glucose is usually, it's a type of sugar, right? That's in your fruits, vegetables, right? And water. So I have warm water in here and a methylene blue here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, okay, I have this I fill this flask a quarter way. So I know you guys probably didn't get to do science experiments this year, but hopefully next year when you get back to campus, I'm gonna put a full thing of glucose in here. So I don't know. Oh shoot, I need scissors, hold on. So hopefully you're having fun in your science classes. I put all the, the element breakdowns of the, I don't know why this is not coming out. Sorry. Of the chemicals. Let me put my glucose in here again. Okay. and then my water, and then I'm gonna put my methylene blue. I'm gonna put 5 drops of that. I wish you guys could do this. Oh my goodness, I have to cut everything here, sorry. All right, so there we go. So I don't know if you can see this. I'm gonna put a stopper on it, and then I can put 3 spoonfuls of my sodium hydroxide here, okay? Oh, I need a scissors. I told you it's gonna be like Mr. Bean. Sorry guys, so embarrassing. Okay, so I'm gonna put 3 spoons. They really seal these up. All right. I don't know if the person changing the camera, I don't know if you can put this on. Is it just my presentation? So I'm gonna just kind of swirl it around and we're gonna just wait a bit, okay? So
Well, if you stop share, we can see you.
oh, is that what happens? Okay, sorry. Okay, so here it is. All right, so I've set up the experiment here. Okay, so we actually have to wait 6 minutes. So I'm gonna swirl this up, okay? As you can see, it's blue. So I'm gonna leave that here. Okay, so we're gonna go back to this experiment in 6 minutes because what we're dealing with is oxygen here, okay? So like, can you guys predict the chemical phenomenon here? What is going to happen in 6 minutes? I hope it happens. Okay, so we're gonna let it sit for a bit and we're gonna resume this presentation, but definitely wanted to do some demos for you guys. Okay, let me get back on there. Okay, so again, the chemical compounds are glucose. So you can see it's made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, and water. You guys also know should be H2O, and methylene blue should be made up of, as you can see, the components there. Okay, so in this flask, okay, I mean, I have the live thing, but you can see up in the air component, there's oxygen in there. So in our atmosphere, it's made up of 20% of oxygen, 80% of, probably nitrogen, and then 2% of carbon dioxide and other things. But inside the liquid, there's water, glucose, and methylene blue. Now, this is important. Glucose that I put in is a redundant, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And methylene blue is oxidizer, okay? And we'll get back to see what that phenomenon will do, okay? But we're now going to go into mindfulness, okay? So mindfulness, so we're talking about the brain, we talked about the anatomy of the brain. Now I want you guys to think of how mentally you use that brain, okay? Like mindfulness is a way of living where you are very focused on everything you do. So I know sometimes we go through the motions, you're like, I don't even know why I'm doing this, or you just kind of are, doing all these chores, you don't really like indulge in life. So figure out ways to really calm down. So things of like thinking of like how you're breathing, how you're walking barefoot. So when you're walking, think of like how you're enjoying that environment you're walking in. When you're cooking, I think of like how I'm feeding my family. When I'm taking my dog for a walk, I think about how much love I have for my dog. And it's a lot about positive thinking because sometimes we get so caught up in the stresses and drama of the world that we get so lost in our negativity that it's so hard to live. Right? So like things about like learning how to forgive your friends because you get so obsessed for people who've wronged you or who've made you so frustrated. You've got to learn how to forgive people and you got to learn how to forgive yourself. So how do we do this mindfulness living? Like, are you living in a way where you're just always thinking about the future or you're hung up on the past of what people did to you that you're not living in present day? You're not thinking about what you're doing in front of you. You're not making every moment in life count. That's worrisome. Okay. So make every moment last. You guys are so young, so much to go on. So to get you guys in this mindfulness state, this positive state, this wonderful way of thinking, you got to pause and think about writing. So again, I'm going to go back to this journal. I'm big on literacy. I know I was a science teacher, but I love writing. So writing, again, a way to express that creativity, express that stress. So it can help you with your physical, mental health. It can help you stay positive, right? Turning things around. Like, I know this pandemic's awful, but I think about like how safe you guys are, right? And then it's very intentional. You got to really focus on realizing that life is worth living and we need to be intentional about everything we do. So I'm going to give you a minute. Okay, unfortunately not, I'm going to skip this one because we don't have enough time. But I don't know if we can snap this, but things you can write in your gratitude. You know what? I love writing. We got to write. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a minute. Choose a topic here. What is the best thing that happened to you today? That's number one. Choose any of this topic. I love name a person that you love and why. Give me some gratitude. Think about how wonderful your life is, okay? Write for 1 minute. About 20 more seconds. I'm gonna make sure Delilah, you're ready, and Nani, please be ready to share. I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't know how to switch my screen so that's me on the main screen, or is it just, I see just pause. I don't know if it's someone else or maybe, I don't know, the producer can change the view.
At the top right of your Zoom interface, you should see a view icon. If you click on that, you can click, you can change it to view or gallery.
Or if I just start talking, shouldn't I be on the front?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just, I can't keep my mouth shut anyways. Okay, so look guys, okay, that blue liquid, what did it do? It turned white. Okay, this is pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna switch it back again. So I'm gonna turn it back. Yes, this is sorcery. This is chemistry and it's real. So I'm gonna turn it back blue. What is going on? Yes, it's totally clear. This is super cool. Okay, so anyways, yeah. It has a lot to do with oxygen. I'll explain it in a sec, but let me go back to sharing our gratitude prompt. So I'm gonna have Nani, if you don't mind sharing, I'm gonna bring up your slide in a moment. All right, go ahead, Nani.
Hello, my name is Noni Vixie Solano, and I go to Carruthers High School. I'm a senior, and first of all, my gratitude entry was thank you to all the staff and teachers who have helped my classmates and myself to accomplish such an amazing program, which has opened so many doors for us. This has been a very exciting experience. I have learned so much from the, I think, 6 years I've been in this program. And like, it's amazing. My future plans, I plan to attend Fresno State and their School of Jordan College of Agricultural Sciences and Technologies. I kind of want to try out the rodeo at Fresno State and try new things like sports and clubs, new foods, new drinks, and much more. I plan to travel the world, maybe by myself or maybe with my family. I hope to one day own a ranch or a farm and my own company. And once I have that, I plan to go back to school and become a registered nurse. I also want to open up a foundation for abused women in domestic violence, in sexual abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, any kind of abuse, and have that place where women can be safe.
Noni Vixie, this was incredible. It's so beautiful. And I love your gratitude entry about thanking all the staff and teachers who help you be successful. And I just love the dreams you have and the hobbies you have of being part of a rodeo. I would love to come see you perform or compete. But I love that you are so open to traveling new things, seeing the world, and even traveling by yourself. You sound amazing, totally adventurous. I love that you want to give back to your community and then also become a registered nurse. So like these dreams should be something that you should be writing in your journal and hold yourself accountable. So I think that's incredible. Thank you for
Oh, no,
sharing.
yeah, I have it all written down.
Oh, so cool. Delilah, if you don't mind sharing your gratitude entry and what you're up to.
Yeah, I don't mind. Like Ms. Chung has said, my name is Delilah Romo. I go to Sunnyside High and I am a senior. Something I'm grateful for is that sports have been a very big part of my life, and they have been ever since I've been able to join a sports team. I believe around the age of 5. I joined my first soccer team, and so I've just been in sports ever since. Right now, I am the captain of our water polo team. My future plans are to attend college, not only for academics and my major and minor, but to also play for the school in water polo. I've been getting a lot of messages for that, so it's been a great opportunity to speak with tons of administrators and athletic directors. Again, my major is going to be in kinesiology, and I would like to minor in mathematics. My future plans are to become a Navy corpsman. I would like to be a trauma surgeon stationed with the Marine troops. So I would be with the Navy, but I'd like to be stationed with the Marine troops out in battle and in field.
Delilah, this sounds amazing too. I'm so excited. And you're my former student, from like 6 years ago. So to see you grow this way and have these incredible plans and dreams is also very inspiring for me, so to see you successful just makes me so proud. And I know you're just doing incredible work. So best wishes to your thing, and definitely write your dreams in your book, right? Because sometimes it becomes a reality when you write it in. Also, it's like working with your agenda, right? If you write all your tasks down, then you're more likely to complete your tasks, right? So do the same thing for your dreams. Okay, so let's go back to my little chemistry experiment. So we're back to oxygen. So again, the phenomenon was like, what happens if I create a closed system? So I put a stopper here, right? So I put glucose in here, I have water in here, and then methylene blue, okay? And again, let me kind of share with you. So what has happened? Okay, what has happened? It is super cool here. Let me stop sharing in a moment. Okay, let me go. Okay, here it is. So it is clear. Okay, so what we have here is the glucose was so I kind of have to look at my notes to make sure I'm good, is a redundant, okay? A redundant. So what is happening is there are electrons in the redundant from the oxygen that is being connecting. The electrons are jumping into the oxygen in the water and also oxygen inside the air, okay? The methylene blue is kind of a catalyst, an oxidizer that moves that oxygen back and forth, okay? So the power of oxygen to change the chemical composition of the elements inside here, the compounds in here, is pretty amazing. So think about the oxygen that is going into your body, all right? So breathing well. So we're kind of going to talk about breathing in a sec, right? We're talking about mindfulness, breathing, bringing in oxygen, working your heart and lungs through exercise, more aggressive as opposed to just passive breathing is very good for you to keep you healthy and nourished, okay? So anyways, just wanted to show you that fun little experiment there. Let me get back into it. So oxygen is key here, okay? So I'm gonna jump over here. So, okay, this is where it gets a little comedic probably. We're gonna do a little boxing and exercising. So go grab your bands, go find a space that you can kind of exercise and move. So let me kind of jump over here. Let me see what okay, so why is exercising so fantastic, right? Exercising is great for not only your physical health, but your mental health, okay? It is going to keep your cells healthy in every part of your body, Okay, so from the cells on the bottom of your toes to the cells in your fingers. Okay, so you're gonna also help your body as you remember your brain is changing, right? You're getting fully developed with your brain, but the rest of your body as well. So it is increasing the functional activity of your temporal lobe, which is responsible for storing sensory memories, right? It's helping you improve your mental performance, and it's also helping you reduce stress, depression, anxiety. I feel better when I go on a walk. Like when I get really amped up or angry or just really full of ideas, I need to walk it out. Okay, so hopefully you guys are incorporating exercise. Take a break from that screen, go exercise, go out and walk, go skateboard, right? If you can. So here's my cute little illustration of oxygen. So as I just showed that blue flask turning clear and blue again, this oxygen, you can't see it, right? But it manifests itself physically, okay? So some of you should have learned your cellular respiration. I always like to bring back it to, science. But, obviously when we're exercising, there's a graph on the bottom that shows how oxygen consumption obviously increases during exercise, okay? Oh, I actually have to do another experiment first. Oh God, another comedy episode. Okay, so this next chemical phenomenon is what happens when I put a smoldering splint in a flask with hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, and manganese oxide, okay? So again, it has a lot to do with oxygen. Okay, so sorry, give me 1 moment. I need to clean up my flask real quick. It's not easy teaching from the home when you don't have all your equipment. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do here. Okay, so first I am going to get my, oh goodness, okay, let me get my gloves on. So it's always very important to get your science safety, right? It's always good to model your safety for your students. So, sorry, my dog, that's Bonnie. She's barking. That's part of the Zoom experience, right? So, all right, so here we go. Hydrogen peroxide. Now, some of you may have used it for disinfecting your wounds. Okay, so put this in here. Sorry, I should stop sharing. So let me stop sharing real quick. Okay, so I poured the hydrogen peroxide in here. Okay, the whole bottle. And then I'm going to put the manganese oxide in here. So here it is. Okay, there is kind of a reaction going on. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so there's a reaction going on. Of course, my doorbell's ringing. Okay, so I'm gonna take off my gloves because I don't want to burn my finger. Sorry, my bell's ringing. Hold on. Gloves are kind of flammable, so I don't want to light that on fire. Okay, so let me get this splint. So the phenomenon here is I'm gonna put this, I'll light this up. All right, so it's lit. Get it? It's lit. Okay, so let's put this out. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's hope this works, okay? Let's see what happens. Okay, let's make sure I do it right. Look, it lights back up. How cool is that? Now that, okay, let me put that out again. What? Yes, sorcery. No, it's not sorcery, it's chemistry. It's chemistry, guys. How cool is that? Okay, so again, why do you think that happened? Okay, hopefully I don't burn my house down. Okay, let me throw this in the sink in a tub of water. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, I don't have a hood in here, but okay, so let's see what happened. So again, the hint is this phenomenon happened, right? There you go, hold on. How did it light back up? Okay, so how did this work? Okay, so there's decomposition of the hydrogen peroxide inside, okay? Again, there's a catalyst, so this is what I put in there, the manganese oxide, okay? And what happens is it breaks down the two oxygens that are in the hydrogen peroxide. So if you look at the hydrogen peroxide, it's made up of two hydrogen and two oxygens, and it's gonna break up that oxygen, okay? So when I add that manganese in there, it will get it really super fast. So then there's pure oxygen in here, and on this stick right here, this stick over here has oxygen in it as well. So what happens is those electrons are jumping onto that, and it's causing a chemical reaction. So there's a lot of energy that's being released. So obviously it lights it on fire. So that is kind of what's happening there. So again, look how exciting the oxygen is. Like, it combines so well with different elements. Okay, so that's kind of what's happening. So how are we looking on time? We only have like very little time. So this is where we do a little bit of exercising. So I'm gonna just do that. Okay, so this is Mark Castro. He is a Sunnyside grad. Okay, so he is a professional boxer. So we take a lot of pride in him. So we are going to do a little bit, just a little bit of boxing, okay, and then do some stretching. So let me get that set up. So hopefully you are set up again. Let's see if this is the Richard Simmons part of the thing. So let me get my thing. All right, sorry, I need my notes. I've never taught kind of like this PE kind of stuff. So, all right, let's just kind of get warmed up a little bit first. Okay, now I like to exercise a lot. So I like to run. I like to run half marathon. I was planning to run the marathon at the end of November. So that's what I'm working on. But I use a lot of apps. I have my Garmin watch. So if you want to log all those steps in, you should get a watch, Fitbit, whatever, if you can, or a pedometer, just a simple one. Or so I use a lot of apps. I use Nike running app. I also use the Nike training app. And this is kind of where I got some of the exercise from. Okay, so there's like one called the boxer arms, and that's what I kind of used. Getting hot, being kind of crazy. Okay, so let's just get started a little bit, okay? So first thing you're gonna do is kind of some circles, okay? Let's just do 10 seconds of circles, right? Let's just do maybe 10 forward. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hi, Bonnie. Let's go backwards now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so hopefully you are doing your PE classes with doing your PE stuff with your teachers. Next, we're gonna do our boxer bounce. So you're gonna get kind of loose. You can do it for 20 seconds. So just kind of bounce around. So I'm the only one on the screen. Hopefully you're doing it too. Okay, so just bounce around. You can alternate your right and left foot, right? Again, this is to get your heart going, your brain with oxygen, getting your lungs and your heart to move. Okay, so you got 5 more seconds here. Okay, now this is kind of fun. This is your left combo. So that means you are going to put your right foot forward, left foot back. Okay, so you are going to do jab, cross, jab. Okay, so kind of right arm in front, or actually this way, left arm in front. You go jab, and then you cross, and then you jab. Okay, so let's do 10 of those. 1, 2, 3. Okay, jab, cross, jab, jab, cross, jab. Oh my God, I can't believe this is being recorded. Cross, jab. Okay, jab, cross, jab. Okay, so keep your fists up, right? You gotta protect your face, right? Protect your body. Now let's switch over to our right side. You can put your right foot, right side in front. You're gonna do the same thing. Jab, cross, jab. Okay, don't you feel tough? I feel tough. Jab, cross, jab. Jab, cross, jab. Okay, one more. Jab, cross, jab. Okay, so keep that bounce going, right? Keep the bounce going. Let me give you another combo. Okay, we're gonna mix this one up. We're gonna do jab, cross, and uppercut. Okay, so left side forward, jab, cross, and uppercut. I think that's how you do it. Jab, cross, and uppercut, right? Jab, cross, and uppercut. Jab, cross, cross, and uppercut. Let's do 2 more. Jab, cross, and uppercut. Feel tough. Jab, cross, and uppercut. 1 more. Jab, cross, and uppercut. And let's switch to the right now. Jab, cross, and uppercut. Jab, cross, and uppercut. Breathe well. Jab, wait, oh, jab, cross, and uppercut. Jab, cross, and uppercut. I hope you guys are laughing. Jab, cross, and uppercut. 1 more. Jab, cross, and uppercut. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm gonna kind of shorten this. I had a lot more to do to embarrass myself, but I'm gonna save all of us the embarrassment right now. But we're gonna use these bands, okay? So we're gonna work those biceps because you're sitting all the time, right? You're sitting all the time doing your Zoom or laying in bed. You gotta work out some of the stress that's happening in your shoulders, maybe your muscles, release that energy. So you can do, let's do some of these curls. Let's do 5 of those. 4, 5. Then you can do these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then you can also do these. Oh, this is my favorite. I wrap it around my hands. The great things about these resistance bands is it works in tension, right? The more resistance, tension, the more strength you have. So you don't need weights. You kind of use your own strength. So I like to move that in the back and just kind of stretch. So I'm kind of pulling upwards. Let's do 5 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope you athletes out there are doing this kind of stuff, right? So you look at what exercise you can do. Now, I also like to kind of stretch out the stress I may have. I'm gonna do some shoulder gaiters. Feel that stretch, pull your elbows out, keep your knuckles to your forehead, pull that out. Have good posture, don't be like this, right? Right, nice and straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I also like doing this, again, just kind of pushing my elbow back. Again, relieving the stress that's built up from hunching over your computer. Let's do it for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do our wrists, okay? Let's pull it up. Your fingers here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should do it longer, but I'm just demoing. So put your hand down this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left side. Again, pull your palm up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now point it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, I like to do this. You kind of cross your hands, cross your arms, grab your hands together, pull this way, and just kind of pull it that way. Okay? So you just kind of pull your your front forearm, give that a little stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you switch it again, the other side. Again, turn it inside out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So hopefully you got some stretches there. Hopefully it felt good. Okay, hopefully it felt good. So I am going to try to finish up. Okay. Well, my living room is a hot mess right now. I've turned it inside out. Okay, so anyways, finally, it's about breathing deeply. Okay, so I'm not gonna go over this, but look up mindful breathing on YouTube. It's about slowing your breath down. So obviously you've kind of increased your breath intake, your air intake, right? You're working your heart and your lungs, which is great because you want strong heart and strong lungs. So you're taking aggressively, bringing in oxygen, but mindful breathing kind of forces you to slow down. Do you ever catch yourself doing work where you realize like, I'm not breathing properly, like I'm holding my breath, or you're not like, have a nice deep breath. So try to learn how to breathe better. So I would consider using that. Now we have some other suggestions. I want to go to our students. Chris, if you don't mind unmiking. Hopefully you stop laughing at me, but if you could unmic and tell us what other ways to de-stress that we didn't talk about, or ways that you de-stress. Chris, are you there? I don't know if you're in the right link. Chris, unmic yourself if you can. If not, I'll kind of share with you. Chris Mack is amazing. He's our leadership leader at Sunnyside, but he's also part of Doctors Academy. He wants to pursue a career in animal science. Now, ways for him to de-stress himself, he says, workout or yoga helps the mind and body relax to have a more comfortable day. 2, being able to remind yourself that you are going to make it and just repeat to yourself, I can do this. I love the self-coaching, Chris. Like, it's so important to coach yourself because no one knows you better than yourself, okay? Music or journaling can help me express how you're feeling and tell your people without actually having to speak like some may not. So I love that. He is totally creative, right? So like he's expressing himself. Like that's why we love music so much, right? That artists are expressing themselves and you can connect to that, those words or the way they sing it, right? So hopefully you can develop that musicality or that creativity to be able to express yourself and communicate your own. Okay, so Brianna, if you don't mind sharing about your recommendations to de-stress.
Hi, so I'm Brianna Perales. I'm a senior at Sunnyside High School, and these are ways I recommend to de-stress. So unplugging from all social media, even if it's just for an hour or like the full day, like take time for yourself. Journaling and reading is a really good way to like take some personal time away from social media, like be in your own thoughts, be in your own like lane, and then going on walks and runs early in the morning. It's a great way to be by yourself and get some exercise in at the same time.
Oh, that's fantastic, Brianna. And you say here you want to be, what is your future career that you would like to pursue?
Trauma surgeon.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing, Brianna. Brianna, I wish you were my life coach. Like that is so wise unplugging from social media because I don't. I should. I'm just like Dr. Phillips know me. I'm like too much on Facebook. You know, it's the old way of doing social media, but I am like too obsessed. So, but I love that you're journaling and that you're walking with or without music. And it just sounds like you have a really good sense of mindfulness. So thank you for sharing, Brianna. And I wish you best of luck in becoming a trauma surgeon. We would love to have you here serving in the Fresno in the Central Valley. So thank you, Brianna, for being great.
Thank you.
So just a little, stressful ways to stressful day to-do list. Like, so these are things that are recommendations, right? Listen to happy tunes. Like, look at our wise senior DA students, trash negative thoughts. Okay, like call up a friend. Do what makes you happy to de-stress. Okay, figure it out. Okay, so like explore different ways. You might not know it. Like, hey, that's kind of a good idea about like just being my own cheerleader. Love that. So that is kind of where we're at. So I'm going to just kind of end it here. If you could share with me in the chat box 2 ways you're going to try to de-stress with life. Like, what are 2 ways you're going to de-stress? And then I'm going to kind of read over it, but I have 3 gift cards to offer you guys. Okay, so I'm going to find one. I'm going to try to figure out which responses I like about how ways you are committing to de-stressing and just combating fatigue. So that was it. But thank you so much, my DA students from Carruthers and Sunnyside, for helping us reach out to you guys. I hope you realize that we are all a community. We all need to support one another, build one another up. I know we only have a few months left this year, but let's make the most of it. Let's be positive. Let's love one another, support one another. If you see something, is stressful with your own life, ask for help. Or if you see stress with another person or your classmate, help them. Help your teachers. Like, the teachers need compliments. They need reassurance that they're doing things right. Okay, so seniors, DA, I wish you the best of luck in finishing this year and graduating too. So I think that's it for me. I don't know if there's any questions. I don't think there is, except can you not be so crazy? Maybe, I don't know.
If you want to go ahead and pick 3 students to give away those gift cards to, we can register their names and make sure we get those out to them.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to read later. There's 400 of you guys. I want to read every single one. I don't want to just choose randomly. So we will reach out to you. I don't know, Dr. Phyllis, if we can.
That's fine. Yes, we could do that.
Yeah, because I love the commitments. Like, look at this. Okay, look at sit outside and listen to noises around you. That is beautiful. I love that. Make dessert for the family once in a while. You guys are wonderful. Very inspiring.
Miss
Thank
Chung.
you.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's Chris. I'm sorry, I couldn't unmute earlier.
Oh, Chris.
But
Suggestions, can you share?
yeah, one other thing that I would suggest is that people can write down what they want to do in that day, and that'll help them like really kind of like just go step by step of what they want to do in the day, so they won't be stressed out and like not know. So I feel like that would be another way, because I do that and I just tell myself what I want to accomplish in that day, and then when I do, it'll make me feel better.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's beautiful, Chris. And that is that how you became a leader for our Sunnyside, like ASB? Like, I just love that you have such wisdom already. And that's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. So Chris is suggesting writing it down. Like, writing is amazing skill, right? Writing or drawing. So you remind yourself of things to, you know, or it organizes your thoughts in your brain. So fantastic. Oh, we got Gardner here listening to music. I love it.
Thank you so much, Flo, Mrs. Chung. We just loved your session, and I hope everyone out there was able to participate and get the oxygen flowing to the brain. Thanks again. So I'm going to go ahead and transition us. So this is going to be the end of our general session using this webinar link. If you refer back to the online program, which is at the website listed there on the slide, or the PDF that you received, you will see the options for the 11 o'clock session. And so I just want to also let you know that if you have a family member who's listening in and wants to attend a different session than you at either of the concurrent sessions, that is okay. They can, as long as they have a separate device, they can also participate if you provide a link to them. All right, well, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the conference.